personality flaw. Come at me with them character flaws, BB. And we're back. Hello. I have some more conspiracy theories for you. I have to preface this with my best friend's favorite show is Ancient Aliens. The person who really makes that show for me is the Aliens guy. I love him. Okay, so today, with that all being said, let me get this zoomed in because my eyesight is not the best and I don't have my glasses on today. So you're gonna see me shifting around a little bit because at some point I'm gonna have to put like pictures on the screen. I realized last time that me being right in the middle kind of affects how well I can like show you guys things. So I will be moving around. Don't be alarmed. Welcome to my bedroom floor. Cool. So my best friend and I were talking about conspiracy theories, as we are wont to do, and she had told me about an episode of Ancient Aliens where they talked about the beautiful continent of Antarctica. And then I fell down that Google deep dive of conspiracy theories that happen in Antarctica. And there are hundreds of them. There are so many conspiracy theories that like first of all, I did a lot of research and there's no way any of this is gonna end up in like a full ass video. So, there are bigger conspiracy theories that I have left out in this video. Mainly the Atlantis conspiracy theory, the Nazi conspiracy theory, and a few others, but those are the big heavy hitters. Oh, I left out Flat Earth as well, just because those are such beefy topics, and I didn't want to get caught up in topics that really have already been talked about. So I will say that this kind of started with the Ancient Alien episodes, and how we have divulged into stuff that I found fun. So I will tell you that the stuff that I'm talking about right now is literally just the tip of the iceberg. It's just the tip of the iceberg of the information you can find on conspiracy theories about Antarctica. So everything I'm going to be talking about today will be linked in the description down below. Have at it. I am a scientist, and I like to get to the bottom of things scientifically. I am an optimist. I am a conspiracy theory optimist. I don't know if I said this in the previous video. I'm a conspiracy theory optimist, but I am also a scientist by nature. I do have 2 degrees in sciences, and so I have that optimism, but I also want to know the truth, and I won't blindly be an optimist if it doesn't go with what science is, right? I'm coming out here telling you that these opinions are my own and only my own, and if you disagree with me, please tell me. I would love to be persuaded in the other direction on that. So with that being said, let's dive right in. So my first observation here is that if you look at the grand scheme of Antarctica, a lot of people, like, there's not a lot known about Antarctica, and I think that's why this continent gets a lot of its mystery from. It's very uninhabited, and really it's a polar desert, it's a frozen tundra. You can't just go to Antarctica. I mean, you can go on a cruise and look around it and you can kind of see what you're looking at, but you can't just like go to Antarctica and traipse around the continent. That's not allowed, and for good reason. So people, that's fodder for conspiracy theories, is that like people can't just go to Antarctica. There's a whole treaty protecting the continent from being used for anything other than scientific research. So you can't just go there. And honestly, why would you want to? Unless you were some crazy conspiracy theorist who wanted to go to this continent for whatever reason. The amount of training and just like the sheer danger of living or even visiting Antarctica, it's not like an inhabitable place to go. If you get lost on your walk home, you freeze to death. Like, that's it. You freeze to death, goodbye. It's a $6,000 trip. I looked it up because you can. 54,000 people every year go to Antarctica either on a cruise or whatever. But it's not, people think these have to be tour guided trips because of secrets, which, I mean, maybe, I guess, but at the same point in time, it's not safe for you to go there on your own. It's just not. So the argument there that they're hiding things, I mean, sure, fine, I'll bite. They're hiding things, but also they're trying to protect you from freezing to death and starving to death in the Arctic tundra. So I mean, just think about that, right? Just think about that for a second. Here are some conspiracy theories, and they're not in any specific order of believability like the Titanic video. I just started compiling things that I found interesting, and I'm going to be providing pictures and links as well, so here we go. The first conspiracy we're going to be talking about today is the Piri Reis Map, and that was a map that was found in 1929 by a guy named Gustav Adolf Deisman, and he was commissioned by Turkey's Ministry of Education to catalog the Topkapi Palace's non-Islamic items. And during that project of categorizing everything in this palace, he discovered, well, I don't know if he discovered them, somebody discovered this satchel of, like, paper, I guess you could call it, like rolls of paper. And they brought them to this guy who was like, hey, holy crap, this is a super old Turkish map, it's important, let's check it out. So this map was drawn in 1513 by the Ottoman Empire admiral and cartographer Piri Reis. According to Piri, he created the map using several other maps of the time, including one that was made by Christopher Columbus, which has since been lost. So he used all these other maps and put them together and made this map. So here's the issue with the map. Well, maybe not an issue, but here's the T on the map. So this map that was made in 1513 apparently shows a very detailed drawing of things that he should not have known about, according to theorists, conspiracy theorists. So the map itself shows, so since it was drawn on gazelle skin, which is gross, gazelle skin parchment, the map kind of broke apart and it's not really in the best condition. But the map that we do have shows the western coast of Europe, North Africa, South America, as well as what one can assume is Antarctica. Now, there are parts of this map that are surprisingly accurate. This is the only 16th century map that shows South America in its exact longitudinal order to Africa, so that's kind of a big deal. But it's not the most accurate map of the 16th century by a long shot, and I will have you look at the Wright and Molyneux map. It's a much better map, it's way more detailed, it's a lot more scientifically accurate to the world we know it as today. Now, it is surprisingly accurate, maybe showing a lot of information that Piri Reis shouldn't have known. Well, I mean, anybody that made those maps shouldn't have known, but they could have been decent guessers. And I'm not saying this map isn't a super cool find and not a really well done map. I'm just saying it's possible that these people got really stoked about a map without really interpreting it. In the Ancient Aliens episode, season 14, episode 1, it's the Return to Antarctica episode, because they show the wrong part of the map as being Antarctica. What they actually show you in that episode is what would have been South America. So just, they're a little off. That was the first thing I noticed, because I was already midway through researching this when I watched that episode, and I was like, huh, that's not right. You know, there's a whole big to-do about how did this map get made. In that episode, they do show a map, and it is the Piri Reis map, and they really heavily focus on that South America section, but that's not really what it is. And actually, I will show you some pictures from this website, but then I'll also link it down below if you want to go and actually read everything about how accurate the Piri Reis map is, because it's really not all that accurate. That is conspiracy number 1. Link down below for the really interesting read of an article that person can explain it way better than I ever could. Conspiracy theory number 2. Is radiation coming from the South Pole? They talk about this in the Ancient Alien episode as well, and so I tried to do my own research on it. Now, I will tell you right now that my findings are inconclusive. It is fascinating, but there's not enough research to know anything for certain. So in 2006, scientists launched a balloon called the ANITA, or the Antarctic Impulsive Transient Antenna. It is, it's a big old, I'll put a picture here, it's a big old balloon. Apparently in 2006, when they launched this sucker, a cosmic ray pinged off of the balloon, which isn't a weird thing to happen. I mean, they are kind of coming through our atmosphere at least a little bit all the time. But in 2006, the ray did not come from the atmosphere. The ray came from the Earth, which is physically unheard of. It's physically impossible for that to happen. And I'm not even saying like physics. Physics, it is physically impossible for that to happen. But in 2014, Anita was launched again, and guess what? It pinged another cosmic ray coming from the wrong direction. To see cosmic rays coming from inside the Earth means that that particle had to come from outer space, through our atmosphere, through our Earth, and out the other side. Which is physically impossible. It can't do that. So for these cosmic rays to be coming out of the ice of Antarctica is physically impossible, but they're doing it. So there's this whole big research going on about how, right? Because obviously these are scientists, they're not conspiracy theorists, they're scientists who are noticing that this anomaly is happening. And it's really fascinating and really exciting, but there still needs to be more research done. All they know is that these particles shouldn't be doing this, but they are, so we need to explain why. And that's the tea on that. Conspiracy theory number 3. This one's my personal favorite. I really do enjoy this one. Because a simple Google search, I mean, it debunks this almost immediately. There's literally no work you have to do with this. It's literally just a click, 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 debunk, and you're done. And I really enjoyed that. You know, that made my job really easy today, is to just have something so immediately debunked, right? So, pyramids and Antarctica. In 2016, the internet blew up because apparently there were 3 pyramids in Antarctica. These pyramids were 4,000 feet tall. To put that into perspective, okay, and just for funsies, just go with me on a journey here. The tallest building in the world right now is the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. It is 2,722 feet tall. They're saying that these pyramids are 1,300 feet taller than that. Honey, how? That's, no, just, this is like the mummy of the Titanic thing. Just like, I saw this theory and I just wanted to like, just delete, just close it out, just be done. Oh, actually did almost delete my word. Yeah, but you know, I just wanted to like delete it and call it a day and be like, no, I refuse. Ugh. We don't even really know how the Egyptians made the pyramids, right? And there's conflicting theories on that. The other half of the story is apparently just like the fodder behind that. So apparently the theory is that the gigantic pyramids on the Antarctica were built over 1 million years ago, which the oldest human fossils are 300,000 years old. So please do tell me how humans built these pyramids. And the one article that I read made me laugh because it said, like, unless the dinosaurs built these pyramids, there was no way they were made by humans. Like, could you imagine just dinosaurs building pyramids? That's a fun thought for me. So the easier explanation, which we know in life, the easier the explanation, the more likely it is the case, right? It's the path of least resistance. It's probably the truth, at least for the most part. I know that's not always true, don't get me wrong, but okay, hear me out. This theory is a lot less fun than dinosaurs building pyramids or the fact that there's pyramids in Antarctica. Try mountains. They're not even a rare type of mountain. That's the funny part about this though, is that they're literally not even rare. So these are they're called a horn type of mountain, and it's just the way the mountain erodes. It's very much like a pyramid. Think of a great real life example, the Matterhorn in Switzerland. That is a horn type mountain. So this was just a big one. So combine the type of mountain, horn mountain, with another thing that happens in places with icebergs and glaciers and things of the sort. There's another type of mountain called, well, it's a geological formation. Sorry. Geology wasn't one of the sciences that I studied, but think of a nunatak, which is basically a mountain that comes up over the ice. So it's just a really big mountain. They're saying this mountain is super special, well, this pyramid, because it's 4,000 feet tall. Mount Everest, I thought that was big for a second. It's not. Mount Everest is 29,000 feet tall. This isn't even a big mountain. It's just your average old, it's basically a hill. No, it's not. These pyramids aren't even new. Explorers found them in 1912, and they jokingly called them pyramids, but they knew they were mountains. Just so you know, this isn't clever. It's like people have known, and there's pictures that exist of these mountains dating back from like 1912 to present. So no, it's nothing special, nothing fun. It's just, they're mountains. They're mountains. Onward. This one I found particularly interesting. So conspiracy number 4. A contrail spanning from the South Pole to the North Pole over South America, found on Google Earth. So this is very weird, and honestly I didn't have a ready explanation for it. This was also on the Ancient Aliens episode, and it is fascinating. Apparently there were pictures of it taken from Earth upwards at it, and it's just, I mean, it's impressive. The whole thing is impressive. There's no way to really explain it. So apparently, and I will post obviously a picture here for you to see, but apparently there's a straight line of a contrail going from the South Pole to the North Pole. It is approximately 12 to 13,000 miles long with no breaks, no interruptions, and no deviations in course. There is one theory that I saw that I really liked that kind of debunks it, but even then it's kind of iffy at best, is that because the picture was found on Google Earth, it might have been to do with the way they stitch pictures together, and that might have caused the phenomenon, because it wasn't actually like a satellite image of it, it was a Google Earth, the Google Earth globe. Couldn't think of the word globe. So I will leave you with one parting fun thing that just actually happened like 2 weeks ago, I think. A little over a week ago. This happened a little over a week ago. So very fascinating. It was one of the first things that came up when I started researching conspiracy theories, and so I am all about it. So, on August 9th, 2020, the Daily Mail posted an article which they posted screenshots from a fellow YouTuber, MRMBB333, and it appears to be a 400-foot ice ship off Antarctica. I mean, mind you, it's probably just an ice block that's in a fun, position, and it just catches the light just right, and it's probably nothing, but it is kind of fun. That's all I have. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please comment. I want to hear what you guys think, and like and subscribe, because that really helps me out, and it lets me know that you guys like what I'm doing. So I'll see you guys next week. Also, I will include my socials at the end if you'd like to follow me on any other platform.